All right, guys, we're here with head coach Eric Krueger of the Pickerington Central boys basketball team. Um, Eric is kind of a little bit of a unknown. Like it's kind of weird because don't work in the school,
Right.
and then basketball, especially this season, sometimes floats under the radar a little bit,
Right.
especially in Pickerington, as you know.
Yeah.
Um, but you have been the head coach for a while at Pickerington, and you took over in kind of a strange circumstance. But why don't since I don't really know how many people they could probably pick you out because
Uh-huh.
they see you, but I don't know how many people know that much about you. Kind
Uh-huh.
of where did you grow up? Who'd you play for? Things like that.
Yeah. I actually from Dayton, Ohio, actually, and played for Joe Staley at Chaminade Julian High School, and I was before I came to I've actually been in Columbus ever since I graduated high school. Played ball at Ohio Dominican University for 4 years for Dan Priest. He's actually at Kenyon College now, and so I've actually been in Columbus ever since I graduated high school in 2001, and but I was born and raised in Dayton, Ohio. But I was obviously there for 18 plus years before I left and moved on to Columbus, and I've never gone back to Dayton. Met my wife here in Columbus at Ohio Dominican University, and we're still in Columbus. We moved out to Pickerington about 11 years ago, and been here ever since. So it's I don't expect to move back home anytime soon. We like it here. We enjoy it here. We love the community, and things are going well. So it's a good area. It's a good Columbus is a great area in general,
Yeah.
and we really enjoy it. And I got two girls right now, two young ones, Lindley and Larsa. And my wife, Jeannie, coaches volleyball at Ridgeview, and she's a teacher at Diley.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
you mentioned your two young daughters. When you kind of took over the reins, you were not with child at that point. So,
yeah,
how
yeah,
how is that kind of? I mean, one's a significant change, but two is a drastic change. And then
yeah,
with both you and your wife coaching, that's an
yeah.
interesting dynamic.
Yeah, no, it gets a little crazy. It's definitely been a life changing event in a great way, of course. And it's time management and just being dad, being dad, but also coaching. It's you really got to juggle a lot. It definitely adding the second child has made it ramped up even more. And they're just it's the best thing ever. But it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of work being able to juggle those things all at once. I would say, especially with her coaching, Jeannie coaching volleyball, and then obviously with the boys basketball program, and I love every second of it. Though it's just gotta plan a little bit more as far as when you're getting this and that done, as far as a practice plan or. Just when you're watching film, probably watching film a little bit later tonight. Here again, going into tomorrow, and just gotta kind of pick and choose your time spots there a little bit. But it's working out good. It's working out good.
Yeah, so you were kind of on like that '94 Cleveland Browns dream staff back on that 2012 state championship
Yeah,
team.
yeah,
Under Jerry
yeah,
Francis, and Coach Hedgepeth was on that staff too,
yep,
correct?
yep,
So you
yep,
guys you guys were all in the mix, and then he takes the girls program, and obviously has done some tremendous things with that program. But
right.
how I kind of take me through the connection. How did you get to like the Pickerington Central stat? Like how did all that come to fruition?
Well, actually, my wife saw a job announcement back when they had the head coach opening and just some assistant coach openings there. kind of on her, just I guess on teacher website, that type of thing. She was actually out teaching at Southwestern City Schools at the time, at Pleasant View Middle School, and she just suggested, hey, we had just moved out to the area. We just kind of fell in love with the area when we were looking around for homes. We were in Hilliard for a little while, just in an apartment over there after we got married, and we just kind of, for whatever reason, we were looking around for homes, looking to buy our first home. We fell in love with Pickerington, and like I said, we've been out here since. But when we were out here, she saw some things come across. I think it might have been OSHA, might have been, not even 100% sure where she even found it, but she said, hey, I know you want to coach. Maybe you can get involved over here as a volunteer assistant, kind of get your foot in the door. And lo and behold, I went ahead and did that. Jerry didn't know me from anybody at that time. He knew that I played at Chaminade Julienne. He was aware of my high school coach, Joe Staley, and he just kind of gave me a shot. He's like, I can't pay you anything. You want to come in and help out? I'd love to have you. And just kind of went from there, man. I can still remember the first open gym and coming in and seeing, Kara Sever and Chad Nelson, those type of guys, Taco Charlton, and that first great group we had there that grew up pretty quick. And Jay Tate, obviously, Javon Best, and Connor Kern, and it just kind of evolved from there. I was a volunteer assistant for a year, then I was the head freshman coach the following year, then the head JV coach the following year. And the year after that, I was actually just with varsity, and it just kind of played out that way. With Jerry had some health issues, and then I took over on an intern basis beginning in January there, and we were able to put things together, make a great run, and win a district title that year. Then we had to go through the interview process and had to go from there as far as the next steps. And then, that's really the backstory of that. So it's kind of it's been a kind of a crazy journey, crazy ride, especially, coming from winning the state title and, having to try to maintain that level of excellence that we have in our program. Year in and year out, trying to reach that bar that we set. And I was a part of helping set that with, as assistant coach with Jerry that year. And it's been a heck of a journey, heck of a ride. And it's no easier any given year. Every especially obviously this year, everything going on, and it's just a constant push. And it's been a lot of fun, a lot of hard work, a lot of fun. Just trying to keep it going as best we can every single week, every single month, every single year we get to step out on that floor, and it's been very rewarding overall. Just being able to lead these young men and be involved in their lives and just be, I guess, more or less just be someone there as far as a coach, but also be someone there that they can talk to as a coach and kind of share those lifelong relationships. Now we're starting to kind of get into those lifelong relationships finally now that Karis is in the NBA now, and Jay Shump in the NBA, and Taco is obviously in the NFL. We got a bunch of guys that are either playing college or graduated from college, or guys that just went on to college to go to school. And maybe they play for a couple of years. Maybe they're just kind of getting into the real world. We actually recently had a coach come back. Now he's helping out this year as a volunteer assistant. He was part of our state team. So now we're starting to kind of get into those, to get more of those lifelong relationships, which is really I think it's really rewarding overall. I think it takes a little bit of time to get to that because these kids are young.
Yeah.
They're not 20, 25 right away. They're 18, 19, 20. So it's been exciting to see that as well. Just off non-basketball, just off the court. just stay in touch with all those guys. It's been awesome, you know.
Yeah, sometimes in your program you get them when they're 14.
Yeah. Yeah.
You, you know, in Pickerington, I mean, obviously they've had some talented kids over the years, but
Right.
you know, I'm not a lifer here, but I've been here long enough to kind of realize that, you know, basketball was kind of like something you did, kind of something you did after football season was over. You know, there might be some football guys on the team. And again, they had some good seasons as Pickerington High School. But, you know, since you've got there, it seems like, you know, just the community in general is just, the bar, as you said, has been raised. Obviously the ultra successful football program, you got state track championships in the last two state track championships in boys. And then you know, come in, obviously the girls program was a monster, back in the 90s, and Hedge is bringing that back. But you come in and you've won, I mean, what, seven out of 9 districts or something like that?
It's, let's see.
We might have to ask Dev.
Yeah, no, I think so. So since 2012, so we've got 7 district titles. Yeah, 7 district titles in 9 years. I think that's correct. So the only years we haven't won a district title, we lost in overtime to Dellinger Rome.
In 15, right?
15 or 14. I think it's 15. You're right. And then this past year against Delaware Hayes. Yep. Yeah,
and you know, obviously, kids are coming. Families are coming to Pickerington in droves, but that doesn't always add up to success. Sometimes you know, you've seen this. Team chemistry can be thrown. It's got to be the right mix of players. And you've had as many guys. I mean, you look at, you know, you lost Tate in 14 to injury. You lose, you know, Blevins at the end of 17, and then you don't get him for any of 18. You lose Simpson and Fulcher in 19, and Towns and Jay Rogers both, you know, had to sit out. You go to the state in 17 and 18. 18 kind of unexpected, but 19 could have really been the year. Had everybody, you know, been able to play with obviously Javon Garcia's a stud. So, you know, guys are coming and going in every district nowadays, and to be honest, I think that makes your job that much more difficult when you're having to mold guys. And right now, I think you have a group of guys that have been together for a while, whether it's through junior high or you know, the Garners of the world that have been around for like 50 years. But no, I mean, I think we've had some really good players, you know, over the years. I think trying to mold those groups is really, I mean, trying to mold any team, whether a kid would, you know, maybe he'd come in or not, or I think it's all still a challenge as a coach. You know, the 2019 year, you're right. To be honest, that was our, you know, I don't know if it was our most dominant team. Sterling and Jeremiah, when Jeremiah was a sophomore, we were a real dominant team that year we went to state. But what I would say is the 2019 team was just so, and the 17 team was as well, but especially 2019 team was just very, very in sync. Before we lost Jay and Sam, we were really hard to guard because even a kid like JG was really only taking, you know, 8 shots maybe. You know, it was real balanced. We just had a real balanced group. And it was Sam, Jay, and you know, Garner, all those guys, Colton.
It was just a real balanced team. We actually set a record for regular season wins that year. We had a great season. I felt, and I still feel like, if we have Jay and Sam the whole year, I feel pretty confident we're playing the state game against Cincinnati Moeller, and I think it's a toss up. We had some length, obviously, with Sam down low. We had the guards, with Jay and JG, and just even, something about that group too is we had a lot of role guys on that team that were just solid role kids off the bench that just knew their role, they fulfilled their role, they just, kind of selfless type of kids, and it really kind of embodied the whole team. Like I said, that whole starting group was unselfish. There really wasn't anyone taking more than 9 shots. There wasn't anybody hardly even taking 10 shots or more a game at any point. And it just made us real balanced. And we just real in sync group, real close knit group. I know that when we had lost we lost in the regionals that year to Old Tennessee Liberty, and just the emotion in the locker room was on another level with that specific group. All the groups, state groups especially, and the district groups of Jalen Tate, Ibby Watson, really every group, I would almost say, but especially that group. There was just such a sense of togetherness with that group, and I think that's what made that group really special. I wish we could. I think it happens for a reason. I wish we had Jay and Sam the whole way. I felt really good about it. I think our whole staff did. I think the kids did. I think we'd had a really good shot at winning the whole thing. I really felt like we would have been playing Moeller in that state final. But that's life, and just keep on moving forward. But that was a great group, and we've had some really good groups, some great groups, anyways. They did. The 2018 group was a year of adversity type of group that I think they came off a lot of expectations from the previous group with Sterling and Jeremiah and Adrian Nelson, and some of those guys played obviously within that group that played in state 2017. I almost felt like the pressure for those kids in general kind of, they might have put a little too much pressure on themselves early on in the year, and I think it took some time to get that chemistry, just overall with that group. But then once we got that chemistry, JG and Adrian really started leading that group, and we were able to make a really good run. Knocking off a team like Hilliard Briley that year, which they were a great team. Westfield North was a really good team that year, if you remember.
Yeah.
We just played well as the year went on, and that ended up being a really rewarding year as well. So it's each year is different. The group we have this year, I think, it's a younger group actually still, which is kind of weird because we were really young last year. But they're starting to take steps in the right direction. Even though we've only played one game, I would just say from a maturity standpoint in practice, and just kind of across the board, I think it's the good group. I think we got a lot of work to do, a lot of improvement to do. But I think the chemistry is good. The kids enjoy playing together. They're playing unselfish. Like I said, albeit one game, but that's typically how they've been in practice as well. Playing unselfish and sharing basketball. And it's and you're right. There's not really a whole lot of, as far as getting that fit, guys getting the fit together. It's not as much of that. It's more fit within their within their starting group, or getting that rotation off the bench, kind of where we want it to be. But the kids are a good group of kids. They get along, and they're doing. Like I said, we only played one game, but I'd like to say we're off to a decent start there. Newark's got a great team, and that was a war, so we were able to get out of there for a win, and they really kind of held in there. That a lot of the game we were down a decent amount, if not majority of the game there, and that was exciting to see that happen for the first game out. And so this I guess I mean getting a little long-winded here, Kurt, but I would say with this group it's a little unknown. It's like usually at this time of the year we probably play maybe 5 or 6 games maybe at this point of the year. So we're still learning, with this group, and there's still a lot to learn as far as who they are, and we know the identity that we want to create, that we want to create year in and year out for our team. So the kids know that, and they have been around it. Like you said, it's a good point. They've been around it. So you have some seniors that are Garner and Theum towards late room. That was a big blow for us. Hopefully, he's probably out for the season, but there's a hint of hope that maybe towards the end of the year he can get back. I would say it's unlikely, but you never know, depending on how quickly he can rehab, that type of thing. And then we've got Sean Evans, who also has a knee injury right now, and he hasn't been able to play. And then Zakai Alexander, and then got 3 other seniors that were JV guys last year, but they're just lunch pail type of kids that want to, they want to be a part of it. They want to contribute, any way they can, whether it's within a game or within practice, just any way they can. So, I think those seniors are Gary Garrish, Tyler Robinson, and Vaughn Moore, and they're just a good group of kids. So, I think we're learning about this group. I mean, I think with the core, the core is a lot of younger guys. Sonny Styles, Devin Royal, Derek Grimes, Raheem Biles. Josh Harlan's kind of taking that step forward now that he's got a year under his belt. Lance Presley's first year varsity guy. So it's a young group as far as experience, but I think we'll just have to, they'll have to grow up pretty quick based on our schedule, and I think they're up to the challenge to do that. So we're still in the process of learning who we are this year, and I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. Assuming we can keep on playing, I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a big win, no matter what year it is when you get on to Newark and get a win, especially in an opener. And it wasn't an opener for them. I know they've had Bafford was out with quarantine or something like that, but big win. You shot it really well. We talked several times last year that we thought last year was probably going to be like a bridge year. And you did. You had some really good wins, and you get to the district. You got beat by a really good defensive Hayes team. But Connor Maciag and Talik Walker, gave a lot to the program. And it's been difficult. You mentioned Theum, but the schedule, which has been a nightmare to try to put together in this circumstance. And what do you? Obviously, you got a lot of young guys, and this year's different because you had 36 days between the state football championship and then your first game. And then last year, I remember seeing you in Canton, and I think you were playing the next day. And this is kind of different too because 2 of your better guys, Garner and Sonny, are both football guys, which is not a usual for you when 2 of your better guys are football guys. You've had football guys be role guys, but you talk about Royal, you talk about Sonny, Grimes, Headings, even Harlan and Presley. Those guys are still underclassmen. What has been the most difficult thing? Obviously, you haven't been able to see your guys as much over the course of the off season. But what's been the most difficult thing with this whole pandemic?
I think that's with the football guys. We got them back, and then 5 days later, so we got them back on a Monday. We had a scrimmage on Tuesday at Whitehall, and then by Friday well, I'll take that back. Let's see. By Sunday night, we were in quarantine. So we practiced. We basically had about a weekend of practice with the group, and then we had to take 2 weeks off with a couple guys quarantined, and that was kind of a weird setback as well. And then we got back at it a couple of weeks ago. Those 3 guys are actually in quarantine still. Well, they weren't. I'm trying to think about it. They weren't in quarantine still. They had to go through protocol to get back to playing. So it's been a challenge. I mean, I think just the whole. I think mentally for the kids, I think even as a head coach, I think assistant coaches, as staff, I think mentally it's difficult to just stay locked, stay all the way locked in, because you're like, oh gosh, we got to sit down for 2 weeks. And we were doing Zoom meetings, we were doing Zoom workouts, and trying to make the best of it. I mean, it's just you want to get on the floor as a coach. The kids want to get on the floor, and then so in addition to that, we had to take off. We weren't able to come back to the 18th, and then on top of that, Groveport's not playing until early January. So then our first game would have been this past Friday, but then we weren't able to play that game. We were actually reaching out to try to get games because going into Newark game 1 without any reps, any
right.
work time, the young team. It's like not exactly. I really want to find a way to game in, and it just didn't work out. We had a couple teams back out last minute for some various reasons, and no big deal. But we'll try to maybe search for some games down the line with whoever we can. But I think the challenge is just trying to mentally keep the kids sharp with the the uncertainty is the best way to put it. So not only do you have the quarantine, you also get the delay from our league. You get the 2 or 3 kids in protocol, which brings your practice numbers down to 8 or 9 guys. Coaches are jumping into practice. I mean, it's just, I think that uncertainty. So I think playing a game on Saturday was huge, just to let loose and just play a game. I think the kids were just so excited to play. So I think it's a mental thing, really. I think physically, I think as long as you're able to practice and kind of stay at it, that's good. I think mentally with the kids is the biggest thing. And, I think just with everybody, I think even the athletic directors, I think just everybody involved. I think it's just I think that's the biggest challenge. It's mentally just staying sharp, staying positive, and just kind of having confidence with uncertainty that you're kind of facing as a group, to just stay at it and just take it one day at a time. We've been really preaching that with the kids, and it's kind of cliche, one day at a time, but it really is one day at a time right now. It's like we could wake up tomorrow, and Gehanna could have something happen, and we might can't. You just never know. We this past weekend at Newark, I got a phone call from Coach Quackenbush on Saturday morning, and JV had to be, they had to postpone their game. So it's anything can happen. But just trying to keep the kids confident, try to block some of that out for the kids a little bit if possible. That way they can, because kids kind of know they know what's going on, but if you can kind of deflect it a little bit and just continue stay engaged in practice and getting ready for the next game, and and just kind of, if something does happen, just deal with it when it happens. Don't try to talk about it too much, because that just kind of creates that cloud over.
Right.
I think a lot of kids, for all across Ohio, are kind of dealing with anyways. Obviously the city schools can't come back till January 2nd, and it's just then those kids are friends with our kids, and they're friends with Norris kids or Gehanna, wherever. So so the kids know what's going on, and so I think it's mentally just keeping them kind of positive, just get to the next day, and let's pray that we can play a game and go out there and just just do our best. And have some fun at the same time. It's never been a year where I think it's like, who are we playing? It's like, well, we'll just play whoever. Right? We typically play. We typically play. I would argue the best schedule in Central Ohio. I think we play the best of the best. I think that's what really helped us in 2018. When we made that run, we'd kind of seen everything by the time we got to the tournament. Yeah, we lost some games there during the regular season. We weren't losing anybody. We were losing a lot of good teams, and it was close. So I think that's been the biggest challenge, though. Just keeping kids mentally just positive. Just let's get to the next day. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's not even day by day. I mean, it's hour by hour. You're
really right.
You're getting phone calls. You're getting text. I mean, you pop on social media every half hour and somebody's getting canceled or, stopping, pause and play for 2 weeks, and it's really trying. I hope we can get this whole thing in. Games, I don't know how many games, but, I'd love to see us finally get, back to the tournament and finish it. That would be great. You guys, obviously, taking it game by game. It doesn't get any easier tomorrow night. You get Gahanna, you get Sean Jones. Obviously, he's not the only piece they have over there. They're very talented. You've had some great battles with Gahanna last year and in years past. So, it doesn't, like you said, your schedule is loaded, and I'm sure you'll probably pick somebody up along the way. And who knows who that will be at this point in time. But
we just picked up Centerville, for instance. So there's a good example.
There you go. Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of games that are being picked up that are not marquee or well-respected big-time programs. We play Akron St. Vincent St. Mary on January 2nd. We play DeSales at the end of the month. Who's a Division II. They're going to compete to probably get to state Division II, I would say, with Des Watson and their group. It's got a really good group. So with Gahanna tomorrow, obviously, is they've got a loaded team. I would say they have the best player in the area. Definitely one of the best players in the state of Ohio, if not the best player in the state of Ohio, Sean Jones. And Maceo, and they got a really good group. Jarius Jones, the kid who just got off by Salito.
Simmons.
Simmons, they've got a really good group. So, they got some guys to say the least, and they'll be ready to roll, and we'll be ready to roll. It's just got to go out there and just compete. And I think our guys will definitely do that. But we definitely got a work cut out for us. We're looking forward to the opportunity. I think our guys, are used to playing those type of games, being in those big type of games, and it's a different feel this year. I mean, with no fans really, it's just different. But I think if there's any big game feel, I think especially early in the season, I think this is about as big as it would feel. As far as the game, I think it's going to at least feel like that on the court as much as we can. And I just know our guys will be excited to play, and looking forward to it. So.
Well, Coach, we're gonna try to have you on here a few more times throughout the season, if that's all right with you. We'll get a pulse on the team. I know it's hard to get a feel after one game. So we'll check in with you.
Yeah.
Hey, before I go, would you care go ahead and mention like who's helping you out this year, because that's such a huge part of your success as well.
Devin Howard, Marcus Stewart, Aaron Gossett, and Corey Taylor. You probably remember Corey from the state team.
Yep.
That's our staff this year. Got a couple guys. Fred Saunders moved on, and he had some other things that he wanted to do. And he also had another guy, Keith, that get a new job, and the same with Coach Oakey as well. and Joe. So we had a little bit of movement, but for the most part, we've got a similar staff of guys we've had in the past back. Obviously with Devin, Marcus, Gossett, and then Corey's new guy, which is talk about full circle with one. It's pretty awesome. He's he's a good young man, and we're excited to have him. And it was honestly Saturday was a lot of fun with him. He was talking about his dad played against Ballinger's dad in Newark.
Oh my god!
It just kind of how it goes. So
yeah,
it's kind of cool. Talked to him about that a little bit. And he just kind of talked about Newark. When we played them. The year he won state, just when he was playing, just similar type of kids and all type of stuff, and so it's been a lot of fun with him so far too.
Yeah, let's not talk too much about that game down at Newark the year we won the state.
Oh yeah,
let's try to forget that.
Yeah, we were able to get back at him in the tournament that year.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we just didn't play well. It just that's how basketball goes. You know that.
Absolutely.
What I forgot to mention there with that younger group is Gavin.
Yeah.
He's fitting in well, and he's coming along, and just some of that stuff is just getting used to knowing kids, just basic stuff. You know what I mean? That's the one thing I would say too. The last thing I'd say, Kurt, I need to be going, but
we lost Coach Krueger there for a second.
Hey, sorry about that, Kurt. My phone just ran out of battery, man. No, what I was saying was the one thing I wanted to say. You asked what the challenge was. Talk about the mental state of the kids. One thing I think is a big challenge, and I think if you ask other coaches, they would say the same thing, is trying to create that team bonding and team togetherness and team structure all together, just because you can't do anything as a team outside of practice and games.
Right.
That's it. You can't do a team meal. You can't have the team over to just kind of hang out and just have them kind of just bond and get to know each other better off the court. You can't go do it's pretty difficult to go do like a community service type of thing right now. Like that's something I would say is a big challenge as well this year, and that's something definitely we're not used to. And it's because you want to be able to do those things with the kids, and
right.
But just talk to them outside of basketball a little bit as well as a coach, and so you try to talk to the kids as much as you can at practice, and sit down with them and have some conversations outside of that. But man, I tell you that's a challenge. That's a challenge this year. Not being able to do those things as a team that really bring teams together outside of just being on the court.
Right.
So that was just one thing I wanted to mention. It kind of came to me after we were talking for a little bit. I thought about that as well. So, but that's it, man. I just wanted to call you back. My phone ran out of battery, man. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I hope nobody texted you about a cancellation or anything. So.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man.
Well, Coach, we'll do this again, God willing, and hopefully we can get to the finish line. This is a season like no other. But I always appreciate talking to you, and look forward to seeing how you guys end up tomorrow night.
For sure. And I'm looking forward to it as well.
All right, Coach.
Appreciate it, Kurt.
Take care.
Talk to you soon, man.
Okay.
Have a good one, man. See you now.